Today we're making a very wine-like Blackberry Mead. So let's get started. So I've done a lot of meads, but I've never really just made a straight up blackberry mead. I've done mixed berry meads before with blackberries, so I know they can be good in a mixture. But how are they going to do by themselves? I formed the recipe you see on screen and got started. I'm fermenting in a bucket and making sure my starting liquid is going to go over 1 gallon so I can comfortably have enough after primary fermentation is done. One really helpful thing to add to your brews is pectic enzyme. Pectic enzyme helps to break down the fruit more so you get more juice out of them. Most of the time when I put my fruit in the primary, I'll add the pectic enzyme and let it set for about 24 hours. However, with this one, I just went ahead and poured all of my frozen blackberries into my container, mixed it up with the honey and water mixture. I did add the pectic enzyme at this point, so it should still do some work. We had to wait a few hours for this brew to warm up, and then we pitched our yeast. We are using the Lalvin 71B1122 because it'll work really well with dark berry fruits. After we pitched our yeast, we went ahead and let it start fermenting. Our starting gravity for this brew is 1.100. This means that we'll more than likely end at a 13% ABV brew. Because this is a higher starting gravity, we went ahead and added our yeast nutrient at the 24-hour mark. It's often recommended to stagger your yeast nutrient when the brew is above 1.080 starting gravity. With this having so much fruit in it, we're going to need to punch the cap every day for this brew. This means to punch or push down the fruit every day, or whenever you do it, to make sure it's submerged in the liquid. The fermentation took about 10 days, but we let the fruit set in the brew for another week. This is to hopefully get more flavor and possibly some color extraction. We took another gravity reading and we were at 1.000. After throwing the starting and current gravity into our ABV calculator, we're at a 13.1% ABV brew. We racked into a new container using a hop spider to help filter out any fruit chunks. I highly recommend to get one of these so you can avoid any of those big chunks of fruit or any other thing you have in your brew. After racking it, we went ahead and stabilized it with potassium sorbate and metabisulfite. This is so we can safely and comfortably add honey to backsweeten. We added 6 ounces of honey to this brew so we could raise the final gravity to 1.010. I wanted this to be more on the semi-sweet side so we could lean into that more wine-like profile. After we did that, we added some Amburana oak. This is a kind of oak that has some spice and graham cracker profile that is really interesting. You can use any oak. You don't have to just use that. We let the oak sit in for about 2 weeks and then we racked off of it. I wanted to let this brew sit for a few more weeks before bottling because as you can see with the timeline here, it's not very old. So I did that and I let it set for a few more weeks and then we went ahead and bottled it. This brew is really interesting and I can't wait to taste it. So let's go. Carlos, welcome to the brew space.
Yes, thank you.
We are going to taste a blackberry mead, which you just said you like. You're a berry fan.
Oh yeah, I love berry meads.
Have you done just a straight blackberry mead before?
Not a straight blackberry one. I've done strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, but never a blackberry.
Okay. Well, this, neither have I, to be clear. This is my first time doing just straight up blackberry. I've done the mixed berry thing before. So this is blackberry mead with the world famous Amburana oak that we had talked about earlier.
Oh yeah.
Slightly sweetened. Simple process, berries in primary.
Okay.
71B. Mango honey, I want to say, or blueberry blossom honey. I don't remember exactly. This thing's not very old. We're like maybe 2 months at max. About 13%. So, I'll be very curious to hear what you think of it. It's not super clear. I didn't do a great job clearing it. But also, I'm wondering in life, should I be focusing too much on clarity? Maybe. What do you pick up on the nose?
Oh, that is 100% blackberry. Like it's jumping out of the glass on that.
Oh yeah.
Honey. People say, oh, you can't smell sweetness. Well, you can't smell sweetness. You can definitely smell honey.
Right.
So, and to me, that correlates with sweetness, but not always. You can ferment the dry mead and still get the honey, but the honey and the blackberry jump out of this.
Right. This has a very red winey nose to me. It has a very I don't know what specific style, but
it's almost comes across as a little bit of Syrahs and Cab Sauv a little bit.
Yeah, the red wine side is really interesting. Now that I'm looking at it, I wish I'd cleared it better. Yeah, that's a bummer.
The clarity is there. There's probably from messing with the bottle, because you can tell it's looking at the light. It's trying to be clear.
Trying to. I probably should have just let it sit for a little longer. That's your sign to let it age, or force clear, one of the two. Let's taste it. Cheers.
Cheers.
What are you picking up?
The blackberry, the acidity from the blackberry is the first thing that jumps out.
Oh yeah.
Which makes you go down that blackberry hole.
Yep.
You said it is young, so there is just a little heat on the back end.
Oh yeah.
But it's not like it doesn't take away from the mead.
Mm-hmm.
But you can definitely tell that it's just a little hot. Like you said, it's still young, so aging it a little bit more will probably help out a lot.
That acidity and the ABV are what really hit me the hottest currently right now. But I do like the, I love this berry flavor that's here. It's very it is super winey to me. I don't know. It's interesting.
The oak definitely coats the mouth.
Yeah.
It is a little drying, but it's balanced though. Mm-hmm. And it definitely pushes that wine aspect forward a little bit more, like we were talking about.
That's probably why I'm thinking this is more wine-like, is because it's so dry. Then it's not so dry. It's 10-10 final. But comparative to some other things we're going to taste this weekend, this is definitely dry. But it pushes that red wine sort of profile with the tannin and all those things.
But yeah, it's definitely, I think it has a very nice balance to it. It definitely showcases the blackberry.
I'll be curious to see how this ages. I do think in 6 months this is going to be real smooth.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it is young. There's that heat. That is the only thing to me that's deterring from the overall experience of this thing. I really want it to experience and taste more full and round. And it's kind of got some sharp edges that kind of go, ugh, not as comfortable to.
But some of the, I won't say cheap wines, because that's really not. For red wines, no matter how old it is, I've had some red wines that you still get some of the heat. And that could just be a fermentation thing, but you're paying like $30 for a bottle of red wine.
It's true.
Sometimes some of the heat, people look for it in the red wine. So I think it's kind of on par. Like, it's not overly hot, but you can definitely tell it's there. But
I do wonder if maybe some malolactic fermentation would affect this greatly, because I think malic acid is maybe anti-targ are prevalent in blackberries, I think. So I wonder if that conversion would really affect and make this more buttery, more smooth. So I don't know.
Yeah, that would. Well, you said you use 71B for this, though, right?
It's true. Yeah, it converts malic.
Yeah, that would convert some of the malic there.
Interesting. Well, I think it's pretty good. I do want to age it for a while, and I highly recommend. This is really easy to do. That's part of the thing. Is this was not a hard brew. It was a matter of mixing up some blackberries with some honey, throwing yeast in. The Amburana, I feel like can be subbed out. You don't have to have Amburana oak, and I know that's a very specialized one that people are going to go, well, I can't get it. You can use a French medium toast. I would not go super light toast with something like this. Maybe heavier. Yeah. Something like that, and sub it out for that in the recipe card. But it could be interesting to see what that would do.
Oh, yeah.
But the graham crackery, spicy element does add some kind of fun notes here in this, at least.
Yeah. As it, especially as it opens up more, you get some of the spices from that.
Oh, yeah. That's true. I don't treat enough mead like wine, where you're supposed to really let it breathe, and come back and do all the things. I really probably should decant more of these things. It could be interesting to decant a bottle like this and see what pops out instead of just going for it. Maybe some of that heat would even dissipate. Who knows?
I bet you it would.
Well, if you want to check out Carlos and support Carlos, he has this just little thing called Texas Longhouse Meadery located in Texas, and he is going to be open up shop, or is currently open depending on when this video goes out. My schedule is wild. So you very well could be
fingers crossed.
Yeah, you could be in operation when this video is out. So I'll put some links to support him. But Carlos, thank you for coming up from Texas and tasting some meads.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. All right, go check out Carlos and Texas Longhouse Mead. Cheers.
Let's go.